Hey everybody, Matt Ball here. I'm out here on the lake today doing a few tweaks on my boat, trying out a few things. I just put the steering retro kit on my big rig and I just wanted to try it out. I really like it. It's the steering's real responsive. It works really well. But what I wanted to show you while I'm out here, I'm just going to pan the camera around here and I'm going to show you how I have things set up on my boat while I'm out on the water and where I've got them positioned. This is what works for me. What works for you may or may not be the same, but I'll just show you a few things that I've done after quite a few hours on the water in this boat that seems to work fairly well and keep things organized for you. So here we go. So I'm sitting in the cockpit here, and what I'll show you a few things that I've got. And what I've done, I really like these rod holders. Okay, but I'm going to give you a little tip. I mounted everything that I've got mounted on my boat on the troughs are on the outside, and the way I did that, I took one of these lock and load mounts for the Yak Attack gear, and I removed the T-bolt, inserted a screw, and screwed it into these inserts. That puts everything on the outboard side, and that gives me plenty of room to reach my rods. On this side, I've got the same thing set up with my torpedo control. Okay, that lets me throw my rods down in there, and it also, what it does, it keeps rods from wanting to fall out of the boat. Even if you don't have them latched, it just keeps them in the boat. As long as you have the tips up in the protector, you have plenty of room for them to stay in their spot. Another thing that I'll show you, a little tip, move this rod holder clear back as far as you can. And the reason that I'm going to tell you to do that is while you're steering, your handle right here, these new bigger steering handles on the big rig are really nice. But what you don't want is to reach down here while you're fishing and end up with one of these treble hooks in your hand. So by moving the reels back as far as you can, that lets you reach down here without looking and control the steering rudder. While I'm here, I want to show you another thing. When you're in the garage or before you put it in the water, the new big rig doesn't have the indentions here like the Coosa FD did. And what that enabled you to do was to lock your rudder in a straight position. Well, this one doesn't have that, and that's fine. I didn't really use it. But what I did find is that a lot of times you're wondering if your rudder is straight or not when you're wanting to just have your rudder straight and you're just paddling. So what you want to do is line your rudder up straight in the boat and mark the edges of your handle on both sides with just a Sharpie. I did that on both sides right there. That way I know without looking, or I can just glance down and tell that my boat is setting in my rudder's in the straight position. The way I'm videoing this year, I've got this set up here in the front with the GoPro. I like to run it on loop. That way if I catch something, I can grab the photo and grab the video when I get it. So that's up there out of the way. And if I'm doing a technique, say where I'm doing a lot of like a jerkbait or something, I can just roll that down and it's out of my way from my rod. But most of the time, it's not in the way. What's also nice, you can spin this around, get a front view if you see something cool out in front of you, run it around the side, or get a nice shot off the front. The other thing that I've got here, I'll show you here in the back, this thing's got plenty of room, but I'm using the Yak Attack rod holder, and that tube right there works great for holding my Yak Attack net. And that thing works really good. It's right behind me, so it's not in the way of my cast. So I got that thing positioned right behind me. I can reach back, grab it when I need it, and it's right where I want it. I've got my black pack strapped down the back. One thing I'll show you that I do, I take the bungees off. If you look here, as you can see, I put on these little ball bungees in a Yak Attack eyelet down here on the track. That enables me to throw my crate in and strap it down real easy, real quick with these little ball bungees. It's a lot quicker and it's really secure. So that's what I do. I replace that on both sides, just like that. In the back there, I've got my Torqeedo, and that's a whole nother video and setup, but I will show you one thing. I've got that set up on the back, and instead of tying that to my rudder, what I've got is I ran rudder cables. Let's find them here. There they are. I went ahead and ran tubing all the way to the back, and I put it on foot controls. And that is a homemade foot peg. And the reason that I have that little homemade, all I need is something to just grab the tip of my feet with while I'm in here. And what that enables me to do is leave my pedals in, okay? And I still have room to run my pedals without interfering. See there? So I can pedal, and when I want to use the motor, I just drop my feet down and I can steer right here. So what that does, you get a lot better steering radius by doing this than you do by tying the Torqeedo to your rudder control on the side. It just helps. Basically, they're two independent systems. So when I'm pedaling, I'm steering with my rudder control, and while I'm fishing, 90% of the time, I'm using these pedals right here and the rudders that's attached to the boat. When I'm moving from place to place, or if I want to go somewhere really fast, I drop the motor down, throw my feet on these, and away I go, hands-free. So that works really, really well. A couple other things I do. I replaced the knobs for my steering with the Yak Attack cups, my cup holders. Those work really good, and they're out of the way right there. So that's something that I'd recommend doing. Gives you a place to store everything. This one I'm going to give credit to my buddy Jim Brown. This is just a piece of weather stripping. I've got double-sided tape. I stick that on top of my drive, and what that does, it gives me a great place to just lay a rod down while I'm pedaling without it falling in the way. Because a lot of times I usually have one or two rods sitting in that spot right there. It works really, really good. I've got trying out the new Burley Pro, or it's not the new, but the Burley Pro shade for my Lowrance. I really like that so far. I've got the Yak Attack fish finder mount on my 9 Ti. I've got the Yak Attack throttle mount for my Torqeedo. Here's another thing I did. Because I took the paddle holders spot and used this, I took some starboard, made me a couple extensions, and attached a paddle clip on little extensions that just run straight out from there. And that keeps my paddle right there where I want it, nice and handy. And it also adds another little bit of security for rods when you got rods stuck in here. So if you do happen to forget and have one, that's kind of gives you a little bit of a safety rail. It works really good. So I keep my fish trough, hog trough, sorry. Keep my hog trough right here, and that works really well there. It's out of the way, right where I need it. And on the back here, this is my other camera setup. That is that's a waterproof case and battery for the GoPro Hero 5. I think it works all the way up to the 7. Jay Wallen showed me that at Bienville, and I bought one and I love it. Works great. But what I did, I've got the boomstick from Yak Attack right there, and I have it zip tied and tied into a rod holder. And what that enables me to do is real quick, I can just flip it off down here and pull this out, and I've got a pole where I can take my GoPro, get different angles or whatever, and it's easy to take off, and it fits really well, really quick and easy to latch. So that's how I've got that. What else? I've got a set of pliers, zip tied. The Gerber, really good pliers. I've got them zip tied right to my seat base. Those are there all the time, ready to go. Works really well. Of course, I showed everybody in another video, I added this rod strap for my holders. I don't use that a lot, but if I'm on the river, I guarantee you I'm going to use that. But in the lakes, I haven't been using it a lot, but once I get into some rough water, you can bet that's going to be going around my reels. So that's pretty much it. I've got the entire under my seat free to store boxes if I want, or plastics, whatever I want to do. I've got another cup holder right up there in the front with my Orion tumbler. That thing will keep coffee in there all day. It works great. Got my anchor wizard mounted right here. I've just got it going up to about a 8-pound ball, cannonball up there off the front, off of a carabiner. Works great. Just drops down. I can reel it right up. It's a really good setup. Love the anchor wizard. So I've got a T-Rain here on the side with my forceps for getting fish hooks out of things if I need. Got all my scents here, and markers, everything in this side. On this side I've got my pull strap for my my Torpedo on a ring. It's another one of the Yak Attack eyelets. I've just got that tied there. If I lower it down, it hangs right there, or I can raise the motor up and hook it right there. It's out of my way, doesn't get in the way when I'm steering. It's a really good setup. So pretty much it. That's how I've got my boat set up. I've been on 2 pretty long trips. I'm getting ready to head out to the National Championship for a full week. Looking forward to spending time with everybody out there, and in some pretty cool area with some cypress trees and grass, gators, all that. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a different experience for me as far as fishing. I've been to Toledo Bend. It's got a little bit of that, but I'm really looking forward to kind of fishing in the swamps. I think it's going to be fun. So definitely going to challenge me in my abilities, so I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, I'll drop this video down, and if you got any questions, comment, and we'll see you on the water. Y'all take care. God bless.